Hello and welcome to another Mobalytics video. I'm your host Virkayu, and in this one we are going to be talking about the fundamentals of jungle pathing and roots. And no, I don't mean any cookie cutter roots that you just put into your game and do. I'm going to be talking about the movements, decisions, and the pros and cons of why we do certain things in order to carry our teams to victory. Now on my personal main channel, I did a video recently on all the jungle roots you need in Season 10, and no, that's not clickbait, I really went through a lot of roots. So if you're looking to decide which is the best one for you and for your champion, and for what reasons, that video link will be below. And in this video, we will look at the variables and things that can happen and the decisions we need to make in order to put ourselves in the best position to carry, win, and climb. And now with our intro done, without hesitation, let's begin. So I have two gameplays for you to highlight and go over with 4 different champions and 4 different game styles. The first one, we're going to have a Kha'Zix versus a Nidalee. Now, what does Nidalee like to do? Invade, apply pressure. She will commonly look for a 1 or 2 camp clear into an invade. Alternatively, yes, she can full clear 5 camp. Nidalee is one of those champions that can really do whatever she wants. As a jungler against her, it's important to understand what camps and clears other champions want to do, and to very much prepare accordingly. Now, we're not only concerned just with our particular routes, we are also concerned with the vision control and how our junglers path around the map to remain unseen, to have surprise ganks, to sneak objectives, and of course to, set a trap for the enemy jungler. So from our Kha'Zix's point of view, he understands that Nidalee will most likely try and invade him. Kha'Zix can 5-6 camp clear, and he does get a little bit low. As such, this leaves you prone to invade tactics and other cheese champions, and so he, as he's going back to base on his blue, leaves a ward, gets a scanner, and heads to his red. Basically has all the defense necessary if the Nidalee decides to invade. Now in this situation, as an invading jungler, it's common practice to place your ward, get a scanner, and then go and invade. Why? Because when you walk into the enemy jungle, if there is a ward, you will be seen. While Kha'Zix is just doing his business, red into Raptor is gonna sequence up to the blue side, Nidalee has done her red, hopped over the wall, and has now begun the blue. As an invading jungler doing this 1 or 2 camp invade clear, you must pay attention to lane states. You should at least have a scanner or understanding where the enemy jungler is so that you know if you are seen and if you should be making this play in the first place. Naturally, the Kha'Zix's ward gives a heads up to himself and his team. They all collapse, SirhcEz rotates, Nidalee is forced to flash, a fiesta ensues, and this is exactly what you don't want as an aggressive carnivore jungler going on an invade, having it all go wrong. You've 1 camp and you're dead. While both ended up 0, 1, and 2, as you can see, the Kha'Zix did have 3 camps underneath his belt. And so the importance of not only having an early game plan in terms of what the enemy jungler wants to do, what do I want to accomplish as the Kha'Zix, how do I adapt if things don't go as planned, and here was a perfect example of reading the map, changing our approach, and coming out on top. But now, jungle pathing, jungle roots, it isn't all about the first 3 minutes. It's all about the next phases. This is where things get really interesting and the mind games can begin. From Kha'Zix's perspective, what do you know? Nidalee did red, invaded blue, didn't get it, and died. What did the Kha'Zix accomplish? Well, red, Raptors, blue, 2 assists, and, died. But as you can see, the follow-up pathing is just as important. The Nidalee will respawn ahead of the bug, head straight to the blue, and then most likely look to control the bottom crab. As such, the Kha'Zix says, hey, I'll be level 3, I'm gonna go and secure that for myself. At this point, if you have the lead, you cannot afford to path defensively and just go AFK farm. Use the lead you have, use the aggression and the laner support that you have to shove the enemy jungler away from their goals. The pathing was direct out of base to the crab. Nidalee did not have lane support and so could not contest it. As such, he's forced into her blue side jungle. And when that happens, where is your next focus? Think about it. Are you gonna go back down and do your 2nd tier Raptors? Maybe you're gonna do your Krugs. If you thought that, that's incorrect. No, we want to double crab. We want to deny the river accessibility to the Nidalee, because this will remove her ability to execute her game plan. But let's switch perspectives. From the Nidalee's point of view, right, we can do our blue side, we can sequence up to the Raptors and at least try and contest and sort of scout to do that scuttle crab. You do have lane prior to a degree, but at the same time, she's not in position to rotate and help you, and most likely if a fight goes badly here, the game's gonna be over. So again, let's use good jungle pathing, move underneath the shadow of the vision. As you can see on Kha'Zix's map, she does not show up, move into his jungle, and you will know directly the Kha'Zix, after the blue fight in the mid lane at level 3, once he died and reset, he went straight to the crab and straight to the other crab. You know this because he had 13 CS when he ran into the Nidalee in the river. He moved across the mid lane very nicely using the shadows of the fact that the minions were shoved all the way up. He doesn't have to walk all the way around because the fog of war extends to the mid lane when your lane is pushed. He also used his scanner to clear the vision in the topside river, so the Nidalee knew exactly where he was, tracked his CS, and knew what he wanted to do. The Kha'Zix did play a dangerous game by going across mid, not doing the crab, and then, looking for a gank and going into the Nidalee's jungle. This is a move of confidence, but he's able to get away with it. Now this means as we head back into present time, the Nidalee used a nice fog of war to get into the enemy's jungle, ward the wolves, and is now setting a trap. The thing is, the Kha'Zix takes forever to do the crab. forever to do the gromp, but she's used that good pathing to set herself up to make a play, whether that's killing the Kha'Zix as he's low on the wolves, or as in this case, watching mid lane trades and then making a contribution to get an assist. Now if we fast forward a little bit, she's hopping over the wall to do her Krugs. That ward she placed on the wolves that we saw earlier reveals the Kha'Zix doing that camp. This now lets her be in prime position for a counter gank, so you can see all the different facets of jungle pathing and roots within the first 5 and 6 minutes of this game, using vision to navigate smoothly and unseen, using wards to enhance your tracking and basically help you make ganking decisions, or in the Kha'Zix's case, anticipating the Nidalee's game plan, leaving vision, understanding what the enemy wants to accomplish, and then making the collapse play at level 2 and 3. All of these tools need to be in your kit as a jungler as you move around the map, as you stick close to walls, as you look for ganks, invades, and so on. Another pathing trick that junglers don't use is going back to base after a win, and then, they just go back to farming. No, go straight to the lane that's overpushed, that's overstaying, that's low. This is also why in Korea they love Boots of Swifties on set, they love mobility on junglers, and they love Predator Nunu, because it lets them get to these situations as the Nidalee does to get cleanup kills and continually apply pressure. An extension of this play is that it gives Nidalee control of the topside river, gives her control of the red side of her jungle, and if the Kha'Zix so much as steps out of position or goes back to base, gives her the hold over the objective. Let's now shift focus into a different sort of game where it's not so much about traps, but also our reactive pathing, our understanding of lane states, and how we can use good jungle pathing to abuse an enemy jungler's greed and strategy. Right, in this situation, there's less games afoot in the early stages, more your prototypical SirhcEz trying to distribute AP to the people. You've got Echo now starting on the top side, but there's a slight variance in how he's going to clear. He's going to start Raptors using Q. This is again different from the early game routes we talked about at the beginning of the video, where he can now go leashless, allow his lanes to get into a push state, and use his early advantage with his lanes to get off some tower dives. In SirhcEz's case, he doesn't have the same clearing power. He needs to have early proactivity, early ganks, and early pressure, so he will have to read the map very, very well. As Echo goes Raptors Red Krugs into a top lane tower dive probe, the SirhcEz of course does Red Krugs Raptors. Now he will be moving up to the top side of the jungle, and yes, the Echo has that vision down, but while the SirhcEz has been paying attention and rotates to this dive, the Echo didn't show the same respect to the game plan that the Kha'Zix did to the Nidalee. The Echo thought he existed on a plane by himself, that the enemy jungler was a non-factor, that once Echo dove top lane, the SirhcEz would most likely just go and steal his blue side. The problem with this consideration isn't that it's only difficult to tell SirhcEz what to do. I mean, it is. Look, he's got 2 chains attached to his wrists. It's that he did not factor in the time it would take the SirhcEz to go from red side to top side to get off the counter gank if they were both very low. Because of that, SirhcEz picked up 2 kills and gets topside crab. Now, as we always say on my main channel when we talk about ganking, if the enemy top laner has no flash, if he dies and then TPs back into the lane while you're still in the area, repeat and abuse. That is an absolute free gank, one of the fundamentals of jungle pathing. Make sure to punish laner arrogance as well as punish jungler arrogance with good reactive ganks, change your route, get to the situation, and now all of a sudden you're 2-0-1, full red side, top side crab, and full blue side. Now on the Echo's point of view, he thinks, well, that's, it's a bit unfortunate. At least I can get my blue, at least I can do my gromp and take the bottom side scuttle. Well, now I have vision of where the SirhcEz is, I don't have to worry about being counter ganked in that situation. Let me casually move in here for another deep dive and get another kill. Yeah, but the thing is with jungle pathing and decisions, you must also consider roaming mid laners. I know we all don't like Zed, I know we all don't like Zoe, we have frustrations with their roams, but if we're the ones feeding them because we didn't consider lane states, well, there's no one else to blame. And now again, what does the SirhcEz do based upon the Echo's aggressiveness? Make a counter decision. First time was a gank, now it's simply counter jungling. And one of the fundamentals of jungle pathing is using counter jungling to have really nice angled ganks because they don't expect you to show up from that particular side. That's where their junglers are meant to be, and that's where those horrific jungle difference memes will start to begin. Now, even though the SirhcEz does pick up a delayed assist on the kill, nice roam by his support as well, the Echo walked through a ward on his way to the mid lane. I feel like he could have hung around to at least counterplay that, protect his lanes, help them shove, keep them safe, and then everyone can sort of reset. That's something he didn't do, and it's something we need to think about as junglers as well. Echo kinda gets a little sticky with the greed, hangs around, goes back into the enemy jungle. Zed takes care of business, but really this is sort of headless chicken syndrome. When you're jungling like this with this aggressive pathing, looking for fights, looking for skirmishes, you need to sort of consider what the actual state of the game is. Because if you do that and things don't go well, or the enemy jungler is the SirhcEz in this case, making very sound reactive decisions based upon the fact that you didn't think about his game plan. And yeah, do you remember that Lucian, what I told you? And what I've said in my coaching videos as well as other Mobalytics jungle videos, don't be so obsessed with your camps that it redirects your pathing over the best possible play. The Grump and Wolves will be freshly spawning, that will be the highest tier camps you have on the map. Also, there's a Lucian who's still with no summoner spells overstaying in top lane. Let's do what we did with the Nidalee example, run straight there, clean up the kill, punish that guy's greed, and now we can fall back to our jungle and do a full sequence. Lots of experience, laner punished, and now we're Giga Turbo fed. So these games were very interesting because they're all challenger career. All these junglers understand these fundamentals, but sometimes when you forget to think about the most basic things in your game plan or about the nature of the enemy jungler, or the enemy jungler just has a better grasp of the game than you, things can go very badly. So the jungle roots and pathing principles we must remember from this video. 1. Understand what you want to accomplish in the early game, what lanes you want to gank, how many camps you want to clear. The video below will help you with that. Also understand what the enemy jungler wants to do, what their game plan might be, and make preparations to counterplay that particular aggression. Once that early phase has basically played out, don't become a formulaic cookie cutter jungler out of the base and just sort of sequence without thinking. If there's denying crabs that you can do, if there's using the shadows to move around the map to get another crab, look for ganks without the enemy jungler knowing, use it. Use the pressure you gain from the first phase by having a better game plan to actually control the map. Now, if you find yourself against this sort of situation and you do want to make plays, use navigation of wards, use paths in the darkness around what the enemy jungler is doing, set traps, be patient, get that deep vision when you can, and then make counter plays because they think they have control. And jungling really is like that. It's a back and forth with control, using vision and pathing techniques to make sure you are trying to be as surprising as possible and be where they don't expect you to be. Finally, if the enemy jungler ends up being way too aggressive and not considering your game plan, sometimes all you have to do is react in the correct way, use some of those other pathing principles from the first game example, and just take the lead that they give you, clean up the kills that you can, counter jungle where appropriate, and simply reactively path from your game plan and punish their mistakes. Well, there you have it. A lot of advanced techniques and understandings obviously required for this one. It is a bit condensed. Make sure you check out the other jungle videos on Mobalytics to help provide clarification where you need it. Thank you for watching this slightly more serious video. I'll be sure to get more jokes in the next voiceover. Please do like, share, and comment if you did in fact learn something. Don't forget to subscribe to Mobalytics for all the wonderful videos coming very soon as we close in on 200,000 subscribers. Thank you for the support. I've been your host Virkayu, and as always, I will see you all in the next video.